Let us see how this changed in the 2005 period. The project cost increased in this 2005 period, thereby decreasing the total savings. Now, what has increased the change in project costs? So, the factors that have affected the inflation in project costs are due to the rise in wages at offshore, the increase in costs for infrastructure, the global increase in the real estate. So the cost for infrastructure establishment and maintenance has increased. The instability of the foreign exchange rates, the fluctuations, the need for maintenance of multiple test sites, and so on. Well, actually, let me explain the need for maintenance of multiple test sites. The product companies today have a challenge. Again, I'm just taking an example of the product companies. So they have a challenge in maintaining the compatibility of their code in multiple operating systems and browser combinations. Thanks to Mr. Bill Gates for introducing so many operating systems and browser combinations. Take a simple example of a web-based application with JavaScript in the front end. You at least need to test a minimum of 10 OS and browser combinations, which raises for the need of multiple test sites. Well, actually, not only for compatibility, you need multiple test sites for performance and security testing as well. So, all these result in an increase of project costs, so thereby having an impact on the total savings. So, the impact on the total savings poses a risk in choosing the right offshore provider because the cushion has reduced. Let's continue the same path and see what is there in 2008. The project costs have further increased due to the same reasons and have significantly impacted your total savings. The total savings today of outsourcing is not more than 35 to 40%, and you still need to maintain the 20% for risk mitigation. Now, the important factor to understand at this juncture is that outsourcing is still a need and advantage because you're still able to save around 35 to 40%. But what has changed really is the cushion which you had to experiment with outsourcing. Today, if you need to be successful, you need to choose the right outsourcing provider. Zero realization of contingency budget is the key to success. There is no room for mistakes. Do it right the first time. Now, this might leave an impression in everyone's mind that if there is no return on investment incentive, then why should I outsource? Let us look at it from a different perspective, and I'll try to give a different dimension now. The graph over here you see shows the number of clients who have used outsourcing in the age of 2000 to 2008. The blue line is the offshore adoption curve, and outsourcing QA has increased. The red line is the decline on the return on investment purely in the monetary terms as time progressed. But when you see there is a difference and there is a shift in paradigm, the focus or the shift you see is in the 2000s days, the business model actually is labor arbitrage. Now you actually see that there is a shift from a business model to a business process. The focus today is integration and alignment of business goals, while earlier outsourcing was just looked at as a business model with a focus on labor arbitrage. You partner with your vendor today for improving the quality of the business. Though the direct net cost benefit has reduced, the indirect benefits of outsourcing have increased due to the shift in focus. The mindset of the customer today is not just to reduce the costs, rather, he's thinking on to use the same budget which is spent over here at on-site to outsource and gain advantages in terms of productivity, time to market, and also achieve better quality. So the focus is towards how do I spend it wisely. Well, to conclude this slide, the bottom line is that there is definitely a paradigm shift in outsourcing, but the key thing to understand is do it right the first time. Let us understand what has changed in QA from a technical and as well as industry perspective. It is definitely recognized that if testing is done right, then has a positive impact on the quality of the product you deliver, which thereby increases the customer satisfaction. Like gone are the days where you rely on your development team or vendor to produce quality product. Industry has accepted the need of independent verification and validation, which should always be recommended outside of the development team. When you outsource, please keep in mind that you always want to have independent vendors for development and testing. Though your development vendor has the capability to deliver testing services, you lose the objective of independent verification and validation. So, the key thing to note is independent QA and testing is must, and it is the only key to success. Testing has evolved and matured to influence SDLC as opposed to just being the tail end of SDLC. The technology innovation tools and processes have transformed testing into a robust engineering activity. So the focus of the industry has shifted from detection to prevention. As we all know, the cost of prevention is always lower compared to the cost of rework. So let us prevent the mistakes from occurring. The test-driven development will be the future of QA, which follows the manufacturing principles of lean methodology. Avoid waste. To summarize, these are the key points I wanted to emphasize in this presentation. Always remember, do it right the first time because there is no cushion left for mistakes. Multi-sourcing and sourcing with niche providers are better models for success. You need independent verification and validation of the testing. So don't deceive the purpose of testing by choosing a common provider for both services. Draft your contract terms with incentive-based pricing. This helps partnering up with your vendor and creates a situation of win-win, which results in higher chances of success. Now, let's take the Q&A. I see a lot of questions. I don't think so we will be able to cover all the questions here due to the interest of the time. So, I'll pick some random questions, and for the rest, I request you to write them to marketing@applabs.com.